Okay, so some do's and don'ts as we get to kind of a wrap up time here. What are we at, 150? So do's. Please do question your team and their hypotheses. That is your job. Be as relentlessly and purposefully direct as the instructors will be. Help your team discover and utilize their own social and professional networks. Take notes during the weekly calls and review those notes with your team outside of sessions. Teach your team how to think past their technology to the business model. That is one of the things I will tell you as mentors, especially outside of the program, that is absolutely critical. These folks are not generally business people. These are, very technical, researchers, scientists, PhDs, postdocs, master students. The reality is, and some undergrads, that the reality is that they're thinking about their technology. Your job is to help them think past that and deeper into the business model. And then, of course, in that regard, you'll learn a lot of, you'll learn how to use the business model canvas, which is a tool that we use in both the short course and in the national teams program. You're going to teach your team how to iterate and pivot on that business model based on what you're hearing factually from your customers and from that customer discovery. All right, so in that regard, there's some don'ts. Don't expect to speak for the team during presentations. This is a leadership learning experience for the ELs. Wait for instructors to ask you a direct question. And I will tell you, they will ask you direct questions. So that's actually why it's a very hands-on experience. You need to be working very, very closely with your teams because you're going to get to those sessions, whether it's in-person sessions or lessons learned or Zoom calls. And the reality is that, instructors will say, okay, mentor, so I have a question for you. And they're going to ask you a very direct question. So, using, your team as your leverage is actually part of the job. It's making sure that they're obviously learning through this experience, but they're the folks that are on the front lines most often and working with this. This is in their best interest to understand their technology and their forming good hypotheses and taking those discoveries and turning them into a business model someday. But they're going to ask you direct questions on these calls, so you're going to make sure that you want to get that information out of their heads and into yours. Please don't miss a session or leave early. Again, this goes back to, we know it's a serious commitment. We know it's time consuming, but it's important. And once you make the commitment, we need you to be there and stay the entire time. Do not lead customer discovery for the team. Remember, that's the job of the EL. You can assist, you can be there, you can do, coaching and mentoring outside, you can be helping them with hypotheses, but do not lead the customer discovery. That is their job. Please, and this is true of almost anything you'll see here, don't sell when you should be listening. I know it's hard and it takes some time to, get into the mindset and the mode of allowing